My name is Tony Berard. Today's video, I'm going to talk about the block transition tournament. I don't just invent games. I also developed a rating system. I've written a math book. It took me 10 years to write that math book. It's called Points, Lines, and Conic Sections, a sequel to college algebra. It's on Amazon. $15, $14.95, something like that. And it's a really nice book. It'll be a new addition to the college curriculum one day. I want to talk about the block transition tournament. I developed this rating system, and I also developed a new type of tournament design. It's called the block transition tournament. Historically, chess tournaments have been run generally as a Swiss or as a round robin. And that's it. St. Petersburg, 1895. Emanuel Asker, Harry Nelson Pillsbury, the Russian guy, Mikhail. He scored second at the Hastings 1895 behind Harry Nelson Pillsbury. He was the strongest chess player in Russia for a couple of decades, I think. And one other guy, Siegbert Tarrasch. Anyway, those four were in the St. Petersburg 1895 tournament, and it was won by Emanuel Asker. Harry Nelson Pillsbury was leading after the first half, but he collapsed, probably due to syphilis, they said. He had contracted syphilis. Yeah, he didn't live too many years after that. About 11 years, maybe. 1906, I think, is when I read he died. But that was a round robin, and they went around 6 times. So everybody played everybody 6 times. And other tournaments, sometimes they'll do a double round robin, sometimes FIDE or FIDE, depending on how you say it. They will run a candidates tournament, and they'll do a double round robin. During the first round, whatever colors you had against your opponents, you'll get the opposite color the second time around. That way, everybody plays everybody twice. Once is white and once is black. How could anything be less fair than that? Even an unfair game like chess would be rendered fair. And then there's Swiss tournaments. Swiss tournaments, well, there's another kind of tournament too, knockout. Swiss tournaments, they pit 2 people together who have very similar scores. And so, like if one guy's got a score of 6.5, another guy's got a score of 6, and everybody else is paired up, they'll put those 2 together. The idea being that if one wins and one loses, that will create some separation between those 2 players that were equal before. And if you continue to win, then you'll begin to face stronger and stronger opposition. That happened in Rome, 1989. Sofia Polgar, she won her first several rounds, and then she began to get paired against grandmasters. And I can't remember if it was 8 or 9 round tournament. She went undefeated. She might have even routed. I don't remember if she routed. But her performance rating was pretty high. Yeah, that was a pretty amazing tournament. I think I measured her G-score as higher than anything Judith Polgar had ever done. Judith Polgar is widely considered the strongest of the Polgar sisters. There's Sophia, Susan, and Judith. And the other kind of tournament is a knockout-style tournament. Morphy won a knockout-style tournament in 1865. It was the first Continental Chess Congress is what it was called. And Morphy won it. So that was a knockout-style tournament. Sometimes the strongest players don't win the knockout tournaments. Knockout-style tournaments are bad because it doesn't allow the players to play at their true ratings. There's usually little individual games or short matches, and the stronger player can lose a short match of 2 games or 4 games. It doesn't mean the stronger player is demonstrably weak after that 4-game match. No, that's just sometimes that can happen. And when you have a whole bunch of these interactions in a tournament, you can have a guy that's fairly, not too strong considered in the world, but a guy like that can win. And that happens on the women's side all the time because they have knockout style tournaments all the time. And it's unfortunate that they keep doing that. At the Tines and Barbs Corporation, we will not do that. Knockout style tournaments are bad. They don't allow you to play at your true strength. I suppose it's good for the public appetite, where they want to see people knocked out or whatever of a tournament, and then interview them afterwards. But it's not good for the rating system either, because these people get unnecessarily punished. It's just not a good way to do it. Matches and tournaments where the players stay in and continue to play is better. There's one other problem with the round robin tournament, and that is if there's two players who are dominating the event, they might not play each other. They might have played each other in the first round or third round or something, and then you kind of get into these scenarios. Well, this one's playing these three and that one's playing those three for the final 3 rounds, and who has the easier path and all that. Is just silly. It'd be nice if we had a tournament where the top 2 players meet up in the final round, or even in the final 3 rounds. If such a thing could be pulled off, that would be great, because now the top 2 performers are meeting up to play for all the marbles at the end. That's where the climax should be. And my new tournament design accomplishes that. So the block transition tournament. Suppose we have 12 people in our tournament. And what we do with a block transition tournament is we put the people into blocks. Hence the name block. So these are some blocks. I'm going to have 3 blocks. There's 2 types of seatings. What we call the even distribution seating, and you can have the power evenly distribute this. So initially you rank the guys before the tournament 1 through 12 by rating. Number 1 will get placed here, number 2, number 3. Then number 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, and 12. I'm showing blocks. You can have blocks of any number of sides of a polygon. A polygon with 3 sides is called a triangle. A polygon with 4 sides is called a square or a rectangle. A polygon with 5 sides is called a pentagon. Any number of sides of a polygon will work. 6 sides is a hexagon. For simplicity purposes, the idea can work fine with blocks of 4 sides. So I'm illustrating this video with squares, but any size polygon will work. I have to say one other thing. Okay, it's called the path of least resistance. So the primary player gets this path of least resistance. In any block, the person in the upper left corner is designated as the primary player. The other players are not primary players. So number 2 here is the primary player in block 2. Number 3 here is the primary player in block 3. The idea is the primary player would like to hold his position in the blocks, at least, or improve as the tournament goes along. And so 1, 2, and 3, if they hold their positions, they won't play each other until the end when we do the other type of seeding. Until that point, 1, 2, and 3 won't play each other if they hold their position in their blocks. If they can maintain their position as the primary player, the path of least resistance gets applied to the primary player. And so in the first round of the block, in each block they're going to play a round robin. And so everybody will play everybody 1 time. Everybody here will play everybody 1 time. Everybody here will play everybody 1 time. In the same order. So in the first round, number 1 will play number 10. Number 2 will play number 11. And number 3 will play number 12. And also in the first round, number 4 will play number 7. Number 5 will play number 8. And number 6 will play number 9. So this is round 1. Let's put that round 1. So round 2, so 1, 4, 10, 7, 2, 8, 5, 11, 3, 9, 6, 12. So in the first round, 1 played 10. The next easier opponent would be number 7. So 1 will play 7 in round 2, and number 4 will play number 10. 2 will play 8, 5 will play 11, 3 will play 9, 6 will play 12. And in round 3, one, 7, 4, 10, 2, 8, 5, 11, 3, 9, 6, 12. In the third round, the path of least resistance, it will give the primary player the strongest opponent in that block. So 1 will play 4, and 7 will play 10. 2 will play 5, 8 will play 11, 3 will play 6, and 9 will play 12. When they complete the round robin in the block, that's called a phase. And after the phase is over with, we re-rank the players. I have some metrics that I've developed within my rating system. One of them is called the P0 score. And so we rank by points, P0 score, G score, and then previous seniority. So I have two measurements within my rating system called the P0 score and the G score. And the P0 score is the first criterion from my rating system to get used. So the first criterion really is the points. Then people that are tied on points, the ties get broken by the P0 score. In the early rounds, the P0 score won't be differentiated enough. And probably the G score won't be either. But if they are, they can separate it. And if there's not a resolution at that level, then we go to the previous seniority, which would be their initial ranking. So we get a new list, 1 through 12, and we rerun the tournament again. And so number 1 may not be the previous number 1. There might be a new number 1 based on the new ranking. And we go through as many phases as was predetermined at the beginning of the tournament by the tournament organizers. And so I'll just put ... At the last phase, I guess I'm going to call it the power distribution, or distribution by power. And so that's going to look like this. We're only going to have one round of this, so I only need one set of blocks. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. And the path of least resistance gets applied again. So the first round, I guess I do need 3 sets of blocks. So the first round, 1 will play 4, 5 will play 8, 9 will play 12, 2 plays 3, 6 plays 7, and 10 plays 11. So this is round 1 of the final phase. This will be round 2 of the final phase. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. In round 2, 1 played 4 last time, so 1's going to play 3 this time, the next harder opponent. That would mean that 2 plays 4, 5 plays 7, 6 plays 8, 9 plays 11, and 10 plays 12. And then the final round of the phase, which would be the final round of the tournament, the path of least resistance would give 1 would play 2, and 3 would play 4. And here's where all the marbles are played for. 1 finally gets to play 2, the top performer, the top 2 performers. And let's see, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. So 5 would play 6, 7 would play 8, 9 would play 10, and 11 would play 12. And then we have one final re-ranking to see who won the tournament. That's one version of the block transition tournament. I guess I'll have to do another video on it later, because you can run the block transition tournament with different size blocks. And that can create some interesting scenarios. In odd numbered of size, if you use polygons of odd size like triangles, that's 3 sides. There's 2 people in the triangle that can get paired up, but then what do you do with the third one? Well, it gets paired up with somebody who's not paired up in another triangle. And so that's called a cross block game. And different size blocks can move between phases. Those are called migrating blocks. And so this can get really, really deep. But, you know, the easiest thing going is what I just showed you. That's, you know, I guess your plain vanilla block transition tournament. But I showed you at least how the top 2 players can meet up in the final round. It's a pretty cool thing. And you don't know who the top 2 performers are going to be. By the time the end of the tournament gets there, it might be 2 people you didn't think. It's been my experience that if you have a bunch of elite players and they're all less than 100 points difference in rating, it's anybody's ball game. I have a thing called the choke test in my rating system, and it can tell you if the top rated player choked or not. In other words, did he perform according to expectations or not? If the players are too tightly clustered together via rating, then the choke test will say no, he didn't choke. But if there's a pretty good dispersion in the ratings, then yes, the top rated player should rise above that. There's enough difference in the rating to where the rating should be able to tell you who is better. And that's what the choke test measures. So if you have a bunch of tightly clustered players, number 1 may not be who you would think, and number 2 may not be who you would think. But if there is a dispersion in the ratings in the tournament, then it probably will be who you think. Probably the top 2 rated players will probably be meeting up in the final round. But you still have to play the games to see. You never know going in. Linares, 1994. Gary Kasparov said, "Whoever wins this tournament will be considered the strongest tournament player of all time." And he didn't win the tournament. My rating system actually put him 4th, or 3rd rather. I shouldn't push him down farther than what he was rated at, according to my rating system. Karpov won the tournament with 11 out of 13, but Kasparov and Shirov tied for 2nd. And my rating system said Shirov was slightly better than Kasparov. So, but anyway, so Kasparov did not win that tournament. He obviously expected to. He crowned himself king before the tournament started and didn't win it. They said Karpov heard the remark, and Karpov rose to the occasion and won the tournament handily. All right, that's going to end this video. So I'll have to do another video on the block transition tournament so I can show you some migrating blocks and some cross-block games. And also attrition. You can run a block transition tournament with attrition by knocking off the lower blocks. So there's a lot of plasticity possible with the block transition tournament. So this is going to bring a new level of competition to international gaming. And you're welcome. This is Tony Berard signing off.